I show my ass out in public. You do the same shit if you came from nothing. I made it out. Niggas say I got lucky. I'm doing my thing. Only God can judge me. Yeah, you may think only God can judge you, but mm, nigga, so can an actual judge.
You are now listening to The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay on Spotify. A podcast aimed to uncover and share the stories behind heinous and insane acts that have been overlooked or overshadowed by mainstream media, getting justice for the voices that can't speak.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Kay, and I am the host of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. A podcast designed to focus on crimes committed in the Black community that you don't hear about in mainstream media, giving a voice to those victims that have otherwise been silenced. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another week of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. Ladies, how y'all feel? Fellas, y'all all right? It is Sunday, March 23rd, and y'all, your girl is feeling tired, okay? But y'all know I wasn't gonna leave y'all without an episode this week. Although I ain't gonna lie, I almost decided to drop it tomorrow because the case was a little bit complex. And not to mention, I don't know if I need to get like some new type of vitamin or what, but I am freaking tired. Like, do y'all know I fell asleep eating? Like, what is that? Oh my God. I don't know if I'm doing too much. It's probably what it is. I take my vitamins and all of that. But y'all, when I say I am exhausted, like, whew, I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna have to holler at my doc and see, what they can do. But I did go ahead and give y'all this week's episode because, yeah, y'all mess around and be in my damn inbox so damn fast asking where's the episode. Now, I will say this week's case is a little short because I am still working on next week's episode because there's so much material. Like, y'all better call me Alice in Wonderland, baby, because when I say I'm doing a deep dive for next week's episode, this case is so twisted and it's the last case of the month before I introduce something new to y'all. So, yeah, this week's case might be about an hour. I know that's, new for y'all, and I promise y'all will get a lengthier episode next week. So, just to prepare yourselves, okay? An hour is still good, like I'm saying, but don't get mad at me. Anyway, what's going on with y'all this Sunday? What you up to? Now, I know I spent a good part of the week getting myself ready for yesterday's book signing that I had at Nubian, plus, getting stuff together for the event in June. Listen, these tickets are almost gone, y'all. And I hope you got yours because Saturday, June 14th, 2025, I am having my first live show at the Margaritaville at 155 Centennial Olympic Park Drive. Myself, Melanin Mysteries, and Melanin Mayhem are all going to be together. So I'm trying to see about, inviting Sisters Who Kill, but I believe that Mariah is going to have her baby around that time based off of the video I saw. I'm not 100% sure. So waiting on a response from her, sent an email, we'll see what happens. I don't know. But the case that is being discussed that day is insane. And, I have people that are coming that are involved in the case. So that's going to be interesting. So if you have not gotten your ticket or your tickets yet, do not waste time. Go get it now because come April 1st, them tickets are going to go up to $100 a piece. And let me tell y'all, don't think that you just gonna show up the day of and be like, "Oh, I'm here." Nope, because the entire upstairs of the restaurant has been rented out. So it's not a situation where you can just come up there unless your ticket is being scanned. And there will be somebody at the doorway to make sure that you don't just come in. The only people that will be up there are people that purchase tickets and the staff of the restaurant. So unless your ass works there and I just don't know it, don't think you just gonna show up, okay? And to those that have already gotten their tickets, thank you because y'all are saving some money, okay? Each ticket gives you a whole like entree, appetizer, dessert. drinks, all of that, plus a meet and greet with yours truly, as well as the other two podcasters that are going to be there. And it's going to be in a nice, little intimate environment. So, for those that ain't got it, what you waiting on? Listen, if you could spend $65 on a bottle or $400 on a lace front or whatever, go ahead and get your ticket. Especially now with tax season, because when them tickets go up to $100, I can't help you, boo boo. But I am so excited to meet everybody. This is going to be an annual thing, and next year in 2026, it'll probably be a lot bigger, well, where I sell more tickets, but for now, I kind of wanted to do something smaller and intimate and really get an opportunity to speak with each and every last one of y'all, take pictures with everybody, question and answers, all of that. For those of y'all that came out to Nubian Bookstore yesterday, thank y'all so much. I felt all of the love. I was on my feet for like 7 hours, but it was so much fun. And I sold a lot of books and I gained some new readers. If you're not familiar with Nubian Bookstore, it is located at 1540 South Lake Parkway in Morrow, Georgia. It is a Black owned bookstore. Shout out to Marcus because he always gives opportunities for, authors to come and do their thing there. I went yesterday. I'll be back at Nubian Bookstore August 23rd of this year, as well as September 20th. So, definitely thank you to everybody that came out. Y'all know I got that new book dropping at the end of this month, Captive, which is a story about an HBCU graduate being kidnapped and put into sex trafficking. That's going to drop March 31st. I am going to put it on Kindle because a lot of people were asking. So it is going to be available on Amazon Kindle, God willing. And then, of course, I'm going to have, the paperback version that can be purchased directly from my website. Now, I know a lot of people asked yesterday at the book event about having digital copies of my book because I only have paperback right now. I will have digital copies of my prior work available on my website. I'm aiming for mid-April because it is time consuming because it has to be formatted and whatnot. So, just be patient with me because I got a lot of books, y'all. Now, something I want to tell you guys about next month for the month of April. All of the episodes are going to be about celebrities that thought that they was about that life for real. Yes, you heard right. I will be doing episodes where celebrities that were, pretending to be about that life in, music or videos or movies or whatever, really thought that they was about that life and got their asses caught up. So I hope that y'all are ready for that. I am so excited because the very first episode for the month of April is crazy. Okay. Now y'all know my next question, right? What y'all sipping on? Now y'all know I'm still on this whole no liquor and no soda thing until April 12th. And y'all, I almost gave in last week. When I say I almost gave in because Lord knows I needed it, but I didn't. I stood strong. I'm still standing. I'm still here. I'm still strong. Can y'all tell that I watched Antoine Fisher? Mm. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still in this whole no soda, no liquor thing until April 12th. And then once that hit, best believe I will be sipping. So tonight I just got me some, Snapple apple and my popcorn, and I got my junior mints for a little bit of sweet. Oh, and shout out to those that have been sending in what they're drinking. One girl told me she was drinking coffee because she listens in the morning. Somebody else said that they were drinking infusion drinks with shots of tequila and that they were at work. I screamed because she said she was sneaking it in between clients. Like, listen, don't y'all fuck around and get fired because you was listening to the show and drinking on the job. But shout out to everybody that has been sending their drinks of choice. I know when I do go back to drinking my little, alcohol, the first thing I'm gonna do is crack open a bottle of Stella Rosa. So yeah. But I will say it's gonna be the champagne because I'm gonna be celebrating the fact that, I've got all these new accomplishments under my belt. My book is complete. I got another book event done, all of that. And of course, shout out to all the new mobbers that have joined the Facebook group. How y'all doing? Welcome to the infamous ones. We call ourselves the mobbers. So welcome, mobbers. So, y'all ready to get into this case this week? Listen, let me tell y'all. I started researching this case And as I was researching it and kind of reading up on it, naturally, I started looking at who was involved. And then I see that they also got into some trouble. And I'm like, well, damn. Like, did this entire this was one of the times where I was like, did this entire situation teach you nothing? But y'all gonna see what I'm talking about in just a second. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump in, buckle up, and get ready to ride, baby. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. This week's case involves Cortez Ruffin, victim, Tyreed Manningham, accomplice, Isaiah Richardson, surviving victim and Q Money's cousin. Ooh, yeah, I'm about to fuck this name up. Uh, Tavarsian Waller, surviving victim. I really hope that's his name. Gary Williams, surviving victim. Tyrone Laney, surviving victim. Michael Johnson, surviving victim and Keelan's brother. Georgiana Rivers, Cortez's cousin and witness. Calvin Chappell, aka Scotty Way, victim. And the infamous murderers for this week, Keland Jones and Qamar Williams, aka Q Money. Qamar Aki Williams was born December 5th, 1995, in Cleveland, Ohio, to Leisha Harris and Greg LeBron. He is the older of two, has a younger brother by the name of Ahmad. Now, for the purpose of this episode, we're going to call him Q. From what I can see as a child, he really didn't have many problems or issues. He was a very loved child between his parents and was considered very smart. He actually took piano lessons, which was very surprising, and he even participated in the school band. He was pretty much one of those kids that you knew that he was going to like be a big deal kind of early and, multi-talented. He started rapping at a very early age. Now, he did get into a little bit of trouble based on some information that I pulled because he kind of like started hanging out in the streets. And in 2014, he got locked up for 30 days in the Cuyahoga County Jail for drug trafficking. Hmm. But once he got out, he pretty much, went back to doing him. He was trying to make music and everything. And, he had influences like Gucci Mane, Wayne, Rich Homie Quan that he listened to, and they kind of gave him that push. And he wanted to, be like them. He wanted to be great. And his life was pretty much destined for that. He attended Centennial High School, where he graduated class of 2015. And when I say everybody on the block was happy for that boy, like, it was funny because I was reading one of the statuses and it said that he did not attend his prom. Like, that's crazy because he was just like, yo, I got stuff I got to focus on. So, his mom was talking about it and she was like, "Oh, my baby didn't go to the prom. He's so talented. He's so focused." And I'm like, okay, that's dedication right there. And like I said, for all intents and purposes, Q was very talented. He was a lifeguard for 2 years at the Glenville Rec Center. Like I said, he played piano. He wanted to go to college to study to become a lawyer. And, I'm guessing that him getting locked up for those 30 days kind of had an impact on him to make him say that he wanted to do better. And rap was his way of doing that. So I guess that, whole lawyer thing was short lived because, yeah, homie stuck to the rapping. In 2016, Q started putting his music out there, and he did it in a very interesting way. He used SoundCloud and Instagram, and from there, he kind of started growing up his fan base. Damn, Instagram was out in 2016. Sheesh. I just told my age. Let me shut up. But for him, he was serious about, about everything because he really loved rapping. Not to mention, he was trying to make a name for himself and make a way for himself because on top of everything that was going on, Q was about to be a baby daddy. And let me tell y'all, his baby mama is gorgeous. I was trying to get her name, but I could not find it anywhere. Like, I went on his mom's Facebook and I saw she shouted her out and, she was calling her mommy to be and daughter in law and all of that. But her name was never mentioned. But the pictures that they showed of her, especially pregnant. She was glowing. She was gorgeous. Some folks, and when I say some folks, I'm talking about myself. When I got pregnant, whoo, good God, my nose spread so wide it looked like I was sniffing bowling balls, like all of that. But she was so tiny and so petite and so cute, and she just looked like a little Care Bear, like she was adorable. So he had very good taste because, like I said, she was absolutely gorgeous. And August 21st, 2016, she and Q have a son together by the name of Nasir, and they nicknamed him Nas. And Nas was spoiled rotten by his grandparents and, of course, by his daddy. Now, I was looking at some pictures on his Instagram, and although there's some pictures that I don't necessarily agree with, like posting the little baby up in big ass, heavy ass Rolexes and all of that, and having him holding stacks of money, I don't necessarily like shit like that because it's like, yo, he's a kid, he's a baby. But at the end of the day, that's your child. So you're gonna do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I had to remember that Q is very young and also very young minded. But one thing that I could see is that he really loved his son. Like his son was his everything. Now, based off of the pictures that I saw, I didn't really see too many photos of him and his baby mama together. So I'm assuming that once he started to, make a name for himself and once he started getting out there, like most young boys, he started dibbling and dabbling in the hot pockets. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's okay because it's not like they were married or anything. And, I'm pretty sure he got love for his baby mama. So it's 2016 and Q's got it all. He got everything going on. He just had a baby. He's getting his music out there. And so for the following year, Q had put out a very popular song called Work. And Work was one of his best hits because he racked up like over 1 million plays on SoundCloud. Like I listened to it, I ain't gonna lie, it was a bop. And around that time, people were really talking about, how dope he was and who he was. Q Money was on everybody's list. And it got to the point that Think It's a Game Records was like, hey, we want to sign this nigga. All I keep thinking is think it's a game, think it's a game. Like that damn slogan is drilled in my head. So yeah. Anyway, so they was like, yo, we want to sign this dude. So he signs with Think It's a Game Records in 2017. And then he actually ended up signing with Warner Brother Records. From there, it was up. Like, Q was that nigga. August 23rd, 2017, he creates his own channel and he recorded a music video. And he uploaded it to his channel the very same day and all of that. Anytime he would have new music, he would upload it. He did vlog videos where he collaborated with other artists and friends and everything. And he ended up releasing a mixtape too. Now, his debut mixtape, it debuted in 2018 and he had hit songs like Never Had Shit and Ain't Shit Funny. And, Q was doing good with his music. He was making a name for himself. There were people that were doing social media challenges, all kind of stuff. That song Work really put him on the map. Like when he did that song, it became very popular on social media. There was this dude, like, oh gosh, he was wearing this pink shirt, and I remember like he was dancing to it, and he had like this handheld mirror or whatever, and the song just like went viral. Like that thing was viewed more than 2 million times on YouTube. And like I saw a lot of TikToks where people were using his music to like showcase their workouts and party hopping with their sorority strolls and everything. And it was insane the way that the song took off. So then he ended up releasing another song called Neat, which was also a bop. Now the lyrics are kind of funny, especially considering that I'm doing this episode, but we'll get into that later. I was actually gonna play a snippet of the song, but I'm not about to get sued or no mess like that. So, there is a part of the hook where he says, "I keep the gang with me 'cause they gon' bang for me. I show my ass out in public. You do the same shit if you came from nothing. I made it out, say I got lucky. I'm doing my thing, only God can judge me." And I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, it's true. You showed your ass in public, all right, because well, more like private only recorded, but y'all will see what I mean as this goes on. Oh, and that whole you said you keep the gang with you because they gonna bang for you. Mm, mm. Okay, I guess we about to find out. So time is going on, and he now has the hit song "Me." So he decides that he's going to shoot a music video in his hometown. Now, it's July 24th, 2018, and Q is doing the music video in multiple places. He did part of his music video at Mark Trumbull Park, and oddly enough, he did another part of his music video at the London liquor store, y'all. That's something new, but I mean, hey, if that's what you like, if you like it, I love it. Okay. But in each location, folks would meet up there and they turned it into a block party. Now, one of the last places that he shot the music video for was this bar on St. Clair Avenue and East 186th Street called Dog Pound Lounge. So this was one of those very popular spots in Cleveland where everybody came to hang out, but it was also very sketchy too. Like if you were known and you could walk right up in there and you could be strapped and everything, you could have your piece on you and you be good. They weren't worried about you. But if you weren't well known, like it was kind of standoffish and like, okay, what the fuck, why the fuck are you here kind of vibe. And that's the time when you need your gun, but they wouldn't let you bring it in. So Q Money is shooting his video there, and this is like a big deal. Like it's bringing publicity to the lounge, but it's also bringing trouble. Everybody from the neighborhood came out and everybody is having a good time. And this spot is like the club. So like it's a lot of people there. I mean, it's a video shoot. What do you expect? So, like I said, everybody's out and they're having a good time. Eventually, the music shoot ends and Q Money gets ready to go head out. It's like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning on July 25th, and everybody's still partying and still having fun. Now, it was about 200 people in the parking lot that showed up for the music video when it first kicked off. And some people had kind of dwindled down, died off, whatever. So it's about maybe 100 people left. Now, there was a chick that was there by the name of Georgiana Rivers, and she had come to have some fun with her people. While she was there, though, she happened to see her ex-boyfriend. And y'all already know she done had some drinks in her system. Ladies, y'all know how we get. Her ex-boyfriend was in there and he with his new chick on top of that. And oh, that had her mad as hell. She like, oh, hell no. This nigga owe me money and he got the nerve to be up in here stunting like he got it with another bitch. Yeah, she ain't having that. Mm-mm. So she approaches him and she was just like, nigga, what the fuck? How you gonna bring your ass to the club and you owe me money? And he all prideful and shit. Nigga don't want to be embarrassed. And he like, man, what? Yo, you need to chill out with all that shit, man. Like, go on here with that, man. But she ain't letting up. So she goes over to her cousin Cortez and she's like, listen, this nigga is in here in this fucking club with another bitch and he owe me money. And Cortez he peaceful. He goes over to her ex and's like, yo, just give my cousin her money back, bruh. Like, y'all know shit ain't gonna be easy. But old boy was like, nigga, fuck you. Like that type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? And Georgiana, she's like, nah, nigga, fuck you. Nigga, I said you owe me money. How you gonna be up in here with the next bitch? Now, this is where I start to think,
No, you done fucked up, right? No, 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 no. You know you done fucked up, right?
I mean, seriously, like, really? See, this is where stuff starts to go bad. When you allow alcohol and anger to mix, that's when you start having issues. And when you are in a crowd of people, there's lots of people around watching. You're going to be hyped up. You're not going to be thinking sensible. And that's what she messed up because shit went completely left from there. And y'all know the new girlfriend ain't about to be disrespected. She ain't about to be disrespected by the last chick that he was with because now this is her nigga. She got to stunt. She got to show off. Like, this is my man, my man, my man. You trying to disrespect me in front of everybody? Oh, word? You gonna talk shit, ho? Like, who you calling a bitch? But Georgiana, she ain't backing down. She was like, I'm calling you a bitch, bitch. Like, they was on some, if I'm a bitch, your mama's a bitch kind of shit. Some old school shit with it. But like I said, you got all these people outside, and there's folks there that's like egging this shit on. You know what I'm saying? Like they are watching the shit go down, and y'all might as well put a rock. You remember back in the day when you was in school and you got ready to get into a fight, and somebody like go put a rock and be like, I bet you won't knock this rock off the shoulder. Like that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so Georgiana, she's hyped. She's mad. She been drinking. She's seeing her nigga that she was once fucking with there with another bitch. Mm-mm. And she gets so frustrated. She hauls off and socks this nigga dead in the face. And I'm talking about slaps the dog piss out of him. Okay? Now y'all know the new chick ain't having that. Bitch, what you look like trying to attack my man? So she takes a swing and the two of them get to fighting. They throwing blows. It's getting all of this attention. And Georgiana's cousin Cortez, he comes running up. He sees what's going on and he's running over to the two of them. And he's like, yo, come on, man. Y'all gotta chill out, chill out, chill out. Come on, cuz it ain't that serious, man. Calm down, man. Calm down. Like that's a good ass cousin. Let me tell you about Cortez. Cortez Earl Ruffin was born May 17th, 1991 to Nicole Foster. Now, unfortunately, I could not find anything on this man other than he was from Warrensville Heights, Ohio. And believe me, y'all, I went looking. From what his mother said in an interview, he was the second oldest of four boys. He was very family oriented. He either saw his mother daily or he spoke with his mother pretty much just about daily. He was described as somebody that was kind, funny, fiercely loyal to his friends and family. So, we know that he was at the club that night with his cousin Georgiana, but there was absolutely like nothing on him, which was insane because like even his obituary was bleak. And I'm like, damn, that's sad because the brother is fine. Well, I mean, was fine. Like, at the time that everything went down, he was, like, 27 years old, and I mean, good God almighty, good Lord, that baby had that thick-ass, sexy-ass beard. It's something about a man with a beard, y'all. Oh, shit. Then the hair was all wavy. He had the skin, all of that. Whew. I wish I coulda found more on him. Imma stop, though, because 'cause I'm not trying to get my head knocked between the washer and dryer. But, like I said, I'm mad because I couldn't find much on him. But like I said, he was there for his cousin, and that speaks volumes. So, he's trying to break up the fight with his cousin and this other chick when shit just gets out of control. And everybody's standing around either watching it or trying to break it up or they're recording or whatever. And then all of a sudden, this big fat Albert looking nigga that's wearing this green shirt looking like, a shit meme or emoji or something by the name of Tyree Manningham, he jumps up and he just starts firing off his gun, just like pop, 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 pop. And he ends up shooting Cortez. He shot Cortez 4 times. And so people see that Cortez has been shot. People are running to their cars. Cortez is laying on the ground. He's been shot in the arm. He's been shot in his hand. He took 2 shots to the left arm. So he's struggling. And, people are trying to get him help. You can hear people screaming, call 911, call 911. So while people are getting help, you see another man come running up by the name of Keland Jones. Keland Jones was born May 28th, 1994. He is someone else that I could not find a lot of background information on. but he was also in attendance of the music video shoot that night. So, like when the fight broke out, Keelan was one of the ones that had gotten into the mix and was sparring with Cortez. Now, he got knocked down, and instead of sucking it up, he got mad. And he was familiar with Dog Pound. He had come to the lounge with his brother, Michael Johnson, and had been at the spot a few times. So after Cortez has been shot and people are rendering first aid, you know, Keelan is still mad at the fact that him and Cortez had just been beefing because Cortez was trying to help his cousin. So he walked up to Cortez point blank and fired off several shots. Just point blank range, just pop, 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 pop. Now, some hit Cortez and some of them didn't. But the thing was, Cortez was trying to stand up from being shot the first time. And so Keelan walked up on him at point blank range and he just started shooting. And folks were literally screaming and crying, "Don't shoot him again. No, don't shoot him again." And he shot him in the chest multiple times and shot some other people in the process too. One of which was Isaiah Richardson, who just happened to be cousins with Q Money. Isaiah got shot in the leg. Then, like I said, I'm gonna fuck this name up. I'm sorry in advance. Tavarsian Tavarsian Waller, he was there as well, and he was shot in the left arm. He was actually very lucky because the bullet only grazed him. Gary Williams, Tyrone Laney, and Keelan's brother, Michael Johnson, were also shot in numerous places like the foot, the bicep, and the stomach. So Keelan is just firing off shots, not paying attention to shit. And he about to basically get somebody fucked up. But like I said, he's also shot Cortez multiple times too. So he takes off running and he jumps in his blue minivan. And a few seconds later, Tyreed's big ass jumps in the van with him and they kirk up out of there. And yes, y'all heard me right. I said this nigga was driving a blue minivan. And not just any minivan, he was driving a blue Honda Odyssey. That was his getaway car. Like, wait, so while they rush off, 911 is called and the ambulance gets there and they rush Cortez to the hospital. And he's fighting for his life. But sadly, 6 days later, on August 1st, 2018, Cortez dies of his injuries. Now, everybody else that was shot and hurt, they're treated at different hospitals and everything, and they're released to go home. One of them did have more severe injuries because he was shot in the stomach, but eventually they're all released and, they're healing and everything. Cortez's mother, Nicole, she had to bury her baby on August 10th, 2018, at the Greater Works Church of God in Christ. Now, the irony is, a couple of months later, the Dog Pound Lounge was up to renew their liquor license. Oh, baby, Nicole was not having that. Mm-mm. The Cleveland City Council also voted unanimously to file a formal objection to the renewal of the liquor license because of what happened with that shooting in July that, killed her son. And Nicole took it a step further. She went to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control to tell them to decline the bar's liquor license renewal. She told them, listen, they failed to break up a large fight. And I mean, technically, she's right. They did. They didn't break it up. She tells the media, if that bar would have called the police when the crowd got as wild as it did and escalated as far as it did, and if they would have done what they needed to do as far as calling the police, yes, I know he would still be alive. But the bar owners went about their lives. The bar is still going. Everything is back to regular. They're getting their money. Somebody else's child might get shot. And when she said that, I started looking it up and I was like, I'll be damned. There actually was a shooting in September of 2017 at that very lounge. And Nicole made sure to, point that out as well. She said, it's sad because you got two families that have lost their loved ones over the lack of security, safety. I don't think they should be open anymore. And from what I'm looking at now, I think Shotty Girl got her wish because I don't think they open anymore because I couldn't find them. But, now everybody's on the manhunt. Tyreed and Keelan, they're wanted by the cops. And now that Cortez has died, they're upping the charges for Keelan to murder. It took them about a week or so, but eventually Keelan was arrested. And on August 20th, 2018, Keland Jones was charged in a 25 count indictment for the crimes related to that shooting. I told y'all they will stack some charges on your ass, boy. He was charged with murder, aggravated murder, 14 counts of felonious assault, 6 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of discharging a firearm on or near prohibited premises, and 1 count of having weapons while under disability. Now, even though he was charged with all of this, the case was actually dismissed and homie kind of skated for about a year. Now, it's not to say that he was free though, because he was definitely still locked up in Cuyahoga County Jail. But during this time, remember, they're still looking for Tyree. It took them a minute to get to his ass. Although I can't understand, because this nigga is literally shaped like an oblong. But okay. So I'm gonna do better. So they did not catch up with Tyree until April of 2019, damn near 8 months later. They find him in Euclid, Ohio, thanks to the U.S. Marshals, and they arrest him, and he's also charged with the connection to the shooting. But here's the crazy thing, though. No one knows why, but April 5th, 2019, prosecutors decided to drop the charges on Tyree for his connection to the shooting. Like, nothing was ever said as to why, and to this day, nobody knows, but he got away scot free with murder. Oh, but not Keelan. No, that ass was gonna feel it. So about a year later, around that time that they dropped the charges on Tyree, on April 25th, 2019, Keelan is reindicted for the same counts with the addition of drive-by shooting firearm specifications. And so he gets ready to go to trial. June  24th, 2019, Keelan goes to trial. Judge Nancy Forrest presided over the case. And of course, with the amount of evidence that was stacked against him, from the videos showing him in the blue Honda Odyssey to the 100 plus witnesses that were out there when he started shooting, it's no surprise that the jury finds Keelan guilty of murder and felonious assault regarding Cortez Ruffin. They found him guilty of attempted murder and felonious assault regarding Tyrone Laney, Michael Johnson, and Isaiah Richardson. And remember, Michael Johnson is his own brother. He literally shot his own brother, y'all. They found him guilty of attempted murder for Tavarcian Waller and Gary Williams, and they found him guilty of discharging a firearm on or over a public road, as well as having a weapon while under disability. Like, that's a lot of fucking charges. Now, I will say on July 17th, 2019, the court ended up merging the felony assault counts into the murder and attempted murder counts. And they sentenced Keelan to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 29 years. Now, I know y'all, this man literally walked up to a man point blank range because he was mad. He lost the fight and shot him in the chest several times. So he gets life in prison with the possibility of parole after 29 years. Yeah, that's gonna be we're gonna get into that later in fair or foul. But anyway, so he gets taken to the Trumbull Correctional Institute in Leavittsburg, Ohio. And he was given credit for the 355 days that he spent in jail. So he will be eligible for parole August 1st, 2047. It's not too bad. But of course, he filed an appeal because there were some questionable things that went on with the trial. For example, the counts of murder and attempted murder. Now, Keelan argued that the state failed to produce any evidence to show that he was the one that actually shot Cortez or any of the other victims. He and his attorneys also argued that one of the witnesses by the name of Lisa Emile testified that she and her coworkers had come to the bar and were inside for about 15 minutes, and that when they came back out, a fight had broke out and gunshots rang out. But they also talked about that they never saw anybody, so why was she such a credible witness? She did describe how she She did describe how she saw Cortez's body laying on the ground behind the car that she was ducking under, because she ducked under a car, and she recognized him, and she recognized the man that was trying to break up the fight. And so, like, she testified that she heard people screaming, "No, don't shoot him again," but she couldn't identify any of the shooters. And I get it. That is a valid question for them to ask. One of the detectives that was on the case was Mark Peebles, and he testified about how when he got on scene, there were several shell casings and bullet defects to the building, as well as blood stains on the ground and on the sidewalk and the parking lot. But yo, they did recover a 9 millimeter, which was in a backyard of a house that was right there by the lounge that was supposedly linked to Keelan. Isaiah testified about how he ducked when the shots rang out and how he was hit, but he never actually saw who shot him. He talked about how the bullet pinched his artery and broke a bone in his leg, and how, he now has a rod from his knee to his ankle, plus six screws and two plates in his leg. But he didn't actually see anybody shoot him. And there's this thing that Keelan did not anticipate, though. See, his information is popping up in the Ohio law enforcement websites. See, all you have to do is put your driver's license picture, and boom, anytime someone uploads a picture with your face, it's going to come up. So when they were looking at um, the surveillance footage from the night before, or from the night of the shooting, one of the other detectives put his information in and sees Keelan's picture pop up. And so they show it to some of the witnesses that night, and they're like, the witnesses is like, "Yeah, that's him." And so basically Keelan is saying, "Yeah, I was there, and yeah, I fired the shots. Y'all saw me on the camera, but it don't mean that I'm the one that killed him." And to his defense, there was a lack of DNA and ballistic evidence. But at the end of the day, if you're the only one firing shots, then all these people get hit. One and one is two. Not to mention, nigga, you know how the justice system's gonna do your ass. And with his argument, the courts actually found that they were reasonable grounds for his appeal. Now, that was back in October 2020. Obviously, since then, he's, still incarcerated and still doing time at Trumbull. Now, I know y'all are sitting back like, "Okay, I thought you said Q Money was involved in a murder." Patience, mobbers, because all of this has gone down. And Q was well aware, because remember, his cousin is Isaiah Richardson, and Isaiah was shot too. But I guess Q has decided that he wanted to be about that life and fuck the fact that his family was shot, because even though all of this has happened, shortly after Keelan is sentenced and sent off to prison, Q finds himself in some trouble. Since the shooting, Q has, gone on to continue living in his success. He's being, the good daddy and all of that with his son Nas. He's making more music. He's doing features with artists like Young Dolph, Rich Homie Quan, many others. When I was looking at his Instagram, I saw pictures of him with so many artists, ranging from J. Cole to Gucci Mane. He's very, very popular. He was getting ready to kick off a tour and getting ready to really put his name out there even more. So he decided that he was going to go kick it in the ATL with his boy Calvin, which is another rapper that he grew up with. Calvin Alexander Chappell was born on October 11th, 1994, to Alexis Chappell in Euclid, Ohio. He attended Euclid High School, and he was very popular local artist, much like Q Money. Now, their rapping styles were a little different. Listening to his music, he was like a local, like he was more like a rapper and singer. He went under the rap name Scotty Way. And although he was an artist as well, he did things a little out of the ordinary, much like Q Money. He wasn't signed to a major label like Q, so he started his own Scotty Records. And one of his biggest hits was a song titled Laughing My Way. Now, he was a hustler in his own right. Unlike Q, he ain't have any kids. Well, at least that we know of. So one night, He's hanging out in DeKalb County, Georgia with his cousin, visiting, obviously, because he's also from Ohio. So they're down in the A visiting his cousin. And he and his boy Q and some other friends, they're getting ready to go out to the club. Now, there are a few conflicting stories, but let me stress that I'm going based off of what the court documents say. Now, there were some stories saying that he had gotten into it with the nigga. One story said that Q found him with a man getting his cheeks clapped. Another one said that, they both had guns. But again, I'm going off of what the court documents say and also what the video showed. So on April 15th, 2019, Scotty Way, Q, Scotty's cousin, and a few others, they all go to this club. Now, Scotty was staying with his cousin off of Lee Highway. So they all go out that night, and I'm sorry, it was actually April 14th, excuse me, April 14th. They all go out that night and they go to the club. And they're out late. No doubt they probably went to the strip club because like they ain't come back till like 5 in the morning. I'm assuming more than likely they was probably at like Magic City or something. But they get back to the crib and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So Scotty, he's getting ready to go to sleep. He got his air mattress and he crashes. He was like, yo, my nigga, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Good night. That nigga went to sleep. But Q was like, fuck this, man. I'm about to go get me something to eat. So he goes and grabs him a bite and he gets back to the crib and it's like a little after 6 in the morning. Everybody is in the house. They knocked out sleep. And Q comes in and he sees that there's cameras in the house. But like despite this, he just walks right up to Scotty, who is asleep on the air mattress, and pulls out a gun. And he opens fire on a sleeping Scotty, shooting him more than 6 times. Bullet shell casings are flying everywhere. Scotty's been shot in the chest and in the head. Then Q remembers the cameras that are there and he tries to shoot those out, but he was unsuccessful. Now, naturally, when you hear gunshots in the house, it wakes you up out your sleep. And Scotty's cousin, he hears this and he jumps up, he's grabbing his gun and he starts running downstairs and he sees Q standing over Scotty's body. And his cousin is like, nigga, what the fuck? And Q is just standing there. That's all he can say. So Scotty's cousin runs back upstairs and he tells his roommate, yo, hey, bro, get up. This nigga just shot Scotty. This nigga just shot Scotty. So they both go running back downstairs and they end up convincing Q to give up his gun. Like they're like, bruh, just give me the gun, man. Like, yo, you good, bruh. Just give me the gun. And eventually Q gives up the gun and they pushed him out of the crib and locked the door. So Q runs off and now he's hiding. And so he hits up one of his boys that was like real tech savvy because he know them cameras was in that crib. And he was like, hey, yo, listen, I need a favor. I need you to try to get into this video and like delete it for me. But unfortunately, his boy couldn't or wouldn't do it for him. And now DeKalb County is looking for his ass. Okay, so the shooting happened early morning hours of April 15th, 2019. 3 days later, April 18th, Q decides he can't hide. So, after speaking with his family and letting them know what was up, he goes and he turns himself into the DeKalb County Police, which was smart because it's not like he would have got away with it. Especially now that, Scotty's cousin has since turned over the video footage to the police so that they can see the evidence themselves. Now, the fucked up thing is, nobody knows the reason as to why Q did what he did. The boy was just sleeping and Q just walked up and shot him multiple times. But y'all want to hear some crazy shit? I'm not gonna lie, it made me mad as hell. So remember, Q turned himself in April 18th, and he done already told his family what was up. On April 22nd, 2019, I lie to y'all not, his family decides that they're going to put out a statement. Now, when I read this shit, I'm going to tell y'all, it's probably going to make y'all be like, what the fuck? But you just got to listen, okay? So the statement says, first, we would like to send our deepest condolences to the Chappell family at this unfortunate time of loss. We were very familiar with Calvin Alexander Chappell in his younger years with our son. He was a kind young man with a bright future as a singing recording artist. our son Quamir was focused on bringing positive energy through his music. Okay. He started his career from the ground up and does not promote violence or portray the use of guns in any of his visuals that he releases. His rapid rise to stardom fueled his ambitions to continue to work hard to get his career to the next level until he had reached the goals that he had set for himself, his son, his family, and his craft. He has shown perseverance to eventually have become the next biggest artist ever. After the recent tragic loss of Nipsey Hussle, all artists are finding themselves thinking about what they would do if placed in a predicament that they would have to protect their lives if it were being threatened due to being a celebrity. We feel Quamir was a victim in this situation as well, due to his life being completely being altered behind this event. Quamir is an energetic, enthusiastic young man and has no malice in his heart for anyone. As the facts and evidence continue to become available, we are sure that they will show that Quamir acted in self defense from feeling as though his life was at risk and being threatened. We are deeply saddened by the way the information that has been released portrayed the night in question. We are here 100% to support our son Quamir. On April 18th, 2019, Quamir turned himself into the Atlanta DeKalb County Police for further review of this case. We are praying for the Chappell family, and we ask that you keep our family in your prayers as well. We look forward to a positive outcome for our son, Quamir Q Money Williams. Thank you from the family of Qamar Williams. Well, clearly it didn't work out for a positive outcome because although it took a while, Q does go to trial. He gets an attorney, and it is none other than Michael Sterling. And if you don't know that name, Michael Sterling is the now ex husband of America's Next Top Model, Eva Pickford. So Q was charged with malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felon. And he was very nonchalant about it. Like, he had made bonds, so he's able to continue living his life like nothing has happened. And he tours and everything. He didn't really have much to say as far as a public statement. But on September 24th, 2019, he makes a post on his Instagram. They preyed on my downfall. I just want my story to be heard. How can you convict a man on tampered evidence? I was set up. Facts with the 100 emoji. Ooh, I so want to say something, but I'm going to wait for fair or foul. What I will say is that I didn't like that he began touring while getting ready for trial. Like, maybe he was trying to get his coins together for his attorneys. I don't know. But on October 20th, 2021, he goes before the DeKalb County Judge Linda Hunter. And the prosecutor was Josh Geller. And as I said before, his attorney was Michael Sterling. But ultimately, once the trial is underway, on September 23rd, 2022, Qamar Williams is found guilty on all charges. Not some, but all charges. And he's convicted of malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of an attempt to commit certain crimes. So he was given 5 years for the firearms charge, 10 years for the other firearms charge from a convicted felon, and he was sentenced to life without parole for the charge of murder. Now, he is currently incarcerated at the Macon State Prison in Oglethorpe, Georgia. And one thing that I will say is him being locked up has not stopped him at all. Like, he actually released a single, How You Gonna Hate, while he was in jail on his 24th birthday. And he's still very active on social media. His Instagram has recent posts, like recent. And either he's working it or got somebody else working it for him, but he's been posting just about daily. Like, his most recent post was January 31st of this year, where he was congratulating YFN Lucci on his freedom. And his post was congratulating him while saying that soon God was going to work on him to be free. Okay. He has filed an appeal and got a new attorney. And on June 7th, 2024, he went before Judge Nora Polk in DeKalb County. And this time he went before the prosecutor, Thomas Williams. So, like, he had a new attorney, Nicole Mormon. I was looking for updated information on it, but as of right now, he's waiting a new trial date. So, I will keep you guys updated on that. But yes, he is at the Macon State Prison, and like he be going live and talking about how he gonna be home soon. And the funny thing is, this man smiled in his mugshot. So to me, that's saying that he does not give zero fucks about what he's done. And like I said, there's a lot of controversy, I guess, saying that he was set up, but how can you be set up when there's video evidence of you literally just walking up and shooting a person in his sleep? Now, since his incarceration, Q has done a few good things. He has Thanksgiving Neat, which is a foundation like mentoring program. It launched last year and he focuses on giving back to the community. And of course, he's continuing to be the best father that he can be within reason. But other than that, homie is living life behind bars like he's on vacation. So, hey, I don't know what's going to happen with this appeal, if they're going to give him a new trial or what, but I definitely want to keep up to date on this one because I have a lot of opinions when it comes to this. But that is the case of Cortez Ruffin, Keland Jones, Calvin Chappell, and Q Money. And now it is time for Fair or Foul, where we look at the justice system to determine if the sentencing was fair or if it was just a bunch of shit that's going to have us sitting back saying, what the fuck? Now, when it comes to Keelan and his sentencing for Cortez, plus, basically damn near killing six other people, being sentenced to life without the possibility of parole after, or with the possibility of parole after 29 years, that's a bunch of bullshit to me. First off, the fact that they fucked up and let Tyreed go and just dropped all the charges on him, he was acquitted on everything. Yet there's clearly a video of him shooting into a crowd and hitting Cortez. So how is this even possible? Then to sit there and give this man Keelan the possibility of parole after 29 years when you walked up on somebody point blank range and shot them, all because you were mad because y'all were in a fight and you got knocked down. Just like a couple of weeks ago when I did the case about the mortuary dude or the funeral home man. He got upset because he got his ass whooped and then he just stood up and started shooting. Like that's what I see when I'm looking at this one. You were mad because y'all were in a fight and you got knocked down. You don't even know if it was Cortez that knocked you down. And even if it was, you handle your shit with your fist, not a fucking gun. Like you shot your own brother. Like what kind of shit is that? This is a prime example of niggas can't have nothing. And the fact that the courts are willing to give you the possibility of parole, that's bogus as fuck to me. Your ass needs to be sitting in trouble for life. You shot and killed one person point blank range after he had already been shot. Then you turned around and caused six other people injuries, including your brother. Why the fuck is this even a possibility for him to have parole? Like, what was your reason for shooting him after he was already down and you see that he was shot? What was your reason?
Reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason, bitch?
I don't need to explain myself to you. And
What was the reason?
This man was clinging to life. This man was already hurt. And you walked up so close to him that you shot him multiple times in his chest. He had to suffer for 6 days because of it before he died. Like that shit is insane to me. And then you kirk off in a fucking Honda Odyssey. Like ain't nobody gonna recognize your ass. Like they don't have surveillance footage everywhere. Like come on, bruh. That man was hurting. And hell, the only thing that he was doing in the first place was breaking up a fight with his cousin and another bitch trying to calm her down. But instead of staying out of it and minding your black ass business, you attack this man. And because you got your ass worked, now all of a sudden you want to use guns. Like that's some coward ass, sucker ass shit. And I hope that your Goonies looking ass rots in prison. I hope that them niggas bust your ass wide open till it chafes. I hope that you become the bottom bitch of Trumbull Correctional Institution and get passed around like some Lucy's. Okay? Now, when it comes to Q Money and Calvin, What I will say is I don't like the cockiness or the arrogance. I really want to look more into this because, like I said, there's conflicting stories, and I'm just going off of the court documents. But I will say I don't like the cockiness that he had. I don't like the fact that this man is sitting behind bars acting like he's 100% innocent, regardless of if y'all were beefing or not. There is a video of you walking up to a man asleep, somebody that was supposed to be your friend, somebody that you grew up with. You're walking up to a man that's asleep on an air mattress and you shoot him several times. You shoot him in the head and you shoot him in the chest. How is that self defense? And then you have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to use the death of Nipsey Hussle to try to get sympathy from people. Like, come on, man, make that make sense. Nipsey was one that wasn't about violence. Nipsey wasn't going around beefing over dumb shit. If anything, Nipsey was bringing folks together. But you were in Atlanta and y'all out at the club, and for whatever reason, you decided to do this to this man. Then you got your family talking about they think you're 100% innocent and that you're the victim. The victim is the man that you shot and killed. The victim is the man laying on an air mattress that didn't even see you coming because his eyes were closed because he was asleep. That's the fucking victim. The fact that you got life in prison without the possibility of parole, cool. I support that wholeheartedly. But obviously, it's not doing anything because here you are out here smiling and skinning and grinning in your mugshot and all of that, like it's a fucking, album cover or some shit. But, the fact that you, like I said, it's not doing anything because you up here making Instagram posts. You smiling in your mugshot and all of that, like you still get to live your life. Calvin don't. His mother has to go to his grave every day, whereas your mother can come and visit you, whereas your son can come and visit you, whereas your family can talk to you. You out here recording lives and you still making music from the inside. Like, how the hell does that make sense? Where's the accountability? It seems like it's something that won't happen. And unfortunately, Q feels like he's innocent in this situation. He's talking about how he gonna be home real soon. How? If you get home real soon, what are you gonna do? Because at the end of the day, you still shot and killed a man. I can see if it was actual self-defense, but you went as far as trying to shoot the surveillance footage so that way you wouldn't get caught. Then you hit somebody up and asked them to delete it. That doesn't sound like self-defense to me. That sounds like guilt. Now, if there's more to the story, cool, I'll look into it. And y'all know I'll be the first one to say when I was wrong. But based off the current evidence, based off that video footage, based off the fact that there were witnesses that had to take your gun, Mr. I'm not violent, but yet you have a gun, and then shove you out the house, it seems like you shot and killed this man for nothing. So I don't necessarily agree with the sentencing of, life without parole, but it's just the cockiness of it in the whole. It's that fuck everybody mentality. Like for your family to say that you weren't about violence, but yet in all of your photos, I'm seeing you posted up with the middle finger up, you holding up stacks of money and all of this shit, and your music, and you're promoting music, but saying that you're not about violence. Like, make that make sense to me. Cause it's contradictory as fuck. Okay? That is all for this week's episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast. You can follow the show on the various streams on Instagram and TikTok at Infamous One Podcast, and that's a number one, by the way, not spelled out. And you can leave a review there. On Twitter, it's Infamous One Pod, where you can also leave a review. On Facebook, you can join the private discussion group, the Infamous Ones discussion group. As always, answer the daggum questions, like for real. If you don't answer, you ain't getting in. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, once you get in, welcome to the mob, of course, but just answer the questions to get in. That simple. And then, like I said, once you get in, welcome mobbers. Come chop it up and act up and stuff. We listen and we don't judge. Okay, we act up in there. The show streams on multiple streaming services like Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and so on and so on. So please leave a review. It only takes a few seconds. These reviews matter. And of course, let's go ahead and get to some of them reviews. Y'all getting 3 of them tonight. This first one comes from Spotify from Do Re Mimi 73. That is so cute. And it's on the game plan episode. It says, love, love, love this podcast. I found you last week and I've binged all the episodes. I listen while I'm working, so I'm sipping on a good old peppermint mocha. I love that you go deeper than what has been shown on some TV shows and deliver it like one of my best friends telling me about a case she found. Keep up the good work. K, straight info mobbing. Aw, thank you, Puddin'. I appreciate that so much. I love that username, Delray Mimi 73. That's dope. I like that. This next one comes from Apple Podcasts and it's from Preppy 1983 saying, simply amazing show. I began tuning into your show after hearing the episode featuring you on Melanin Mysteries, and I must say it has quickly become one of my favorite podcasts. I regularly listen to your episodes while preparing for work and enjoying breaks between patient appointments. I've also introduced my girlfriend to your podcast, and she thoroughly enjoys it well. As someone of Middle Eastern and white heritage, I resonate with the underrepresentation of crimes affecting people of color in the media. You are doing an exceptional job. Please continue the fantastic work. Yes, spread the word. That's what I love. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all let everybody, I appreciate when y'all let everybody know about the show. And, I love the fact that you're proud of your heritage. Like, yes. All right. So the last one is from Apple Podcast from Newport News Teach. I had to read this one because this one got my attention. Homegirl, I love this podcast. I have listened from day one. It is like I'm talking to my homegirl about true crime. One small note, the voices are a little off putting. The Latin voice and every judge and detective does not have a country voice. Girl, just be you. We love you. I am screaming like, listen. I be getting carried away sometimes with the voices, but I'm gonna work on it. I can't always guarantee it, but I appreciate the love for real. If you want to support the show or if you're feeling the spirit, meaning that liquor that, y'all been sipping on and that water that I've been sipping on, click the link at the bottom of the screen from whatever app you're listening to this episode on and hit listener support to subscribe. Subscriptions start at 99 cents and gives you access to stuff the listeners don't. You can also donate via the Cash App to $infamous1pod. That's $INFAMOUSONEPOD. The donations do go toward research and all of that. And of course, shout out to my snack crew. Again, people, if you have not purchased your ticket for the live show, do it now. Why are you waiting? Come see me, Kay, the host, Tiffany and Willie from Melanin Mysteries, and the country girl Renee from Melanin Mayhem as we come together and, go over an epic case. And of course, shout out to some of my favorite podcasters, such as Melanin Mysteries, Melanin Mayhem, Cocktails and Crime, Not My Brother's Keeper, Sisters Who Kill. Much love to all of y'all. Okay. If you have a case that you want to hear more on that you feel has been ignored in the Black community, if you want to inquire about ad space, or if you want to leave a review, send an email to infamous1pod@gmail.com. That's INFAMOUSONEPOD@gmail.com. And once again, people, please share. This podcast is growing by the day and it means the world. So keep sharing. Until then, y'all know what time it is. It's your girl Kay. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see y'all next week with a new episode. Stay mobbing. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Infamous Ones, a true crime podcast hosted by Kay. Be sure to like and comment on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe so that you never miss an episode.